It used to be a hobby staple, but now you don't see them too much anymore. Let's talk about Grammostola rosea. Hello everybody, welcome to this latest episode. I am your host Robbie and this is Robbiestalkingts, tarantula content for tarantula lovers just like yourselves. In today's video I'm going to be giving you care and husbandry information on the awesome species Grammostola rosea. But before we get into that, make sure to smash that like button, it really helps out the channel. Let's give you that information. So let's give you some care and husbandry information on Grammostola rosea. Now Grammostola rosea is also commonly known as the Chilean rose or the Chilean rose-haired tarantula, and it's a New World terrestrial species of spider. Now what that means for all you new to the hobby is it lives on the ground, but sometimes it's an opportunistic burrower, so take that into account when you make your setup for this species. Temperament wise, these guys are very calm and very docile most of the time, but there are reports that some people do have quite defensive species. So take that into account, that all of them can be different, but most of the time they're very calm. Now, being a New World species, they do have urticating hairs, which is their main type of defense. What they do is when they feel startled or threatened, they will flick the urticating hairs of whatever it is that has startled them or they feel frightened by, and these are very itchy and very agitating to the skin, so you definitely don't want to get them on you when dealing with this species. Growth wise, these guys are very slow. Once they reach adulthood, they have a diagonal leg span of between 5 and 6 inches, so they're not the biggest species out there, but you can't take away that they're still absolutely stunning and worth having in your collection. Now, life expectancy wise, these guys go on forever. Females have been known to live between 20 up to 30 years. I've heard in one of Tom Moran's videos that he believes his original rosea must have been around 40 plus years old. Now, if you're going to get one of these in your collection, take this into account that you will have it for a very long time, unless you get a male. Males are given a much shorter life expectancy and only live for around 5 to possibly 7 years, so you definitely want to pick up a female if you want a tarantula in your collection for a very long time. So setup wise, these guys just need a basic terrestrial setup. All they require is substrate, a cork bark hide and a water dish. Now take into account that they are opportunistic burrowers, so you may want to give them a good 5 to 6 inches of substrate in the enclosure. I personally, with my 2 females, they haven't seen them try to burrow. They're out on top and on display all the time, but it's nice to give them the option. Now this species doesn't require any humidity or extra moisture in the substrate. These guys do like it dry, so if you just keep the water dish in there, not only does it give it the opportunity to drink, if it does need that extra moisture, the water dish is more than sufficient. Feeding wise, as slings, like with all the species that I keep in my collection, I feed them every other day. As juveniles, I do exactly the same every other day, and as adults I feed them once a week and they do just fine. Do keep in mind that being a Grammostola, they are prone to long pre-molt periods and long random fasting periods. So if your tarantula suddenly stops eating for a long period of time, there's no need to panic. It's perfectly normal behaviour. There have been some reports that this species has gone between 1 and 2 years without eating. That's how long these guys can survive without the need to eat. So like I said, there's no reason to panic if they stop eating for that long, which is also what makes this species absolutely awesome for a beginner, because you can afford to make a few husbandry mistakes and it's really not going to be terrible for the spider. If you forget to feed it 1 week, it really won't matter at all. It will be just fine. So let's just do a quick recap. Grammostola rosea, the Chilean rose or Chilean rose hair. Life expectancy, females 20 plus years, anywhere up to 40 years, but that's unconfirmed. Males 5 to 7 years. Growth rate very, very slow. They reach sizes of between 5 and 6 inches in diagonal leg span. They are a terrestrial New World tarantula, so they do have urticating hairs. Setup wise, they need a basic setup: substrate, cork bark hide, water dish. Feeding wise, as slings and juveniles every other day, and as adults once a week. Don't forget, these guys can have long pre-molt periods as well as long periods where they refuse food. Now, in my opinion, this is one of the best beginner species, so if you're just getting into the hobby, I highly recommend you pick one up. Now, that's all the care and husbandry information, so let's get to the end of this video. So there you have it, all the care and husbandry information you will ever need for Grammostola rosea. Now this is the end of the video, but before we go, I want to take the time to remind you guys at home about the 2,000 subscriber giveaway we're doing on the channel. At 2,000 subscribers, I'll be giving one of you the chance to win 3 months free subscription to Creature Crate. So if that's something you're interested in, now's the time to hit the subscribe button and you'll be entered. Now I've said all that, I'll say goodbye and see you in the next video. Take care.